Question of the day: what is truth? What is truth? Oxford Dictionary in 2016 said the international word of the year was post-truth, a hyphenated word, post-truth. And here's what they said: objective facts are less influential in shaping public opinion than appeals to emotion or personal belief. Think about that. Objective facts are less influential in shaping public opinion than appeals to emotion or personal belief. So we trust our emotions and our personal beliefs above facts. Imagine that. Wouldn't that, in a post-truth society, wouldn't that mean we're a culture of liars? Wouldn't that be the implication? It kind of seems to me like modern civilization started to take a sharp turn right around 2016, 2014, 2015, 2016. Something happened. I think it represents a new era of spiritual blindness, the post-truth era of spiritual blindness. Now, in this new era, I'm starting to think we must work harder and harder to define and defend the words we use. Define and defend our words. We're going to read a chapter of the Bible today, John chapter 18. And we're a third of the way through the New Testament this year. This is one of the last days I'll be reading from the Gospels. And this is the last time I have to do this. But I really don't like reading the chapters of the Bible where men are preparing to capture and kill the one perfect human being. I'm going to be honest. I don't like reading these chapters. But we have to. See, Jesus was crucified by spiritually blind men who thought they were serving God. That is our culture today, to a T. Spiritually blind. We're going to talk about spiritually blind people, truth, and words. John chapter 18. When Jesus had spoken these words, he went out with his disciples across the brook Kidron, where there was a garden which he and his disciples entered. Now Judas, who betrayed him, also knew the place, for Jesus often met there with his disciples. So Judas, having procured a band of soldiers and some officers from the chief priests and Pharisees, went there with lanterns and torches and weapons. Then Jesus, knowing all that would happen to him, came forward and said to them, "Who do you seek?" They answered him, "Jesus of Nazareth." Jesus said to them, "I am he." Judas, who betrayed him, was standing with them. And when Jesus said to him, "I am he," they drew back and fell to the ground. So he asked them again, "Who do you seek?" And they said, "Jesus of Nazareth." Jesus answered, "I told you that I am he. So if you seek me, let these men go." This was to fulfill the word that he had spoken. "Of those whom you gave me, I have lost not one." Then Simon Peter, having a sword, drew it and struck the high priest's servant and cut off his right ear. The servant's name was Malchus. So Jesus said to Peter, "Put your sword into its sheath. Shall I not drink the cup the Father has given me?" So the band of soldiers and their captain and the officers of the Jews arrested Jesus and bound him. First they led him to Annas, for he was the father-in-law of Caiaphas, who was the high priest that year. It was Caiaphas who had advised the Jews that it would be expedient that one man should die for the people. Simon Peter followed Jesus, and so did another disciple. Since that disciple was known to the high priest, he entered with Jesus into the courtyard of the high priest. But Peter stood outside the door. So the other disciple, who was known to the high priest, went out and spoke to the servant girl who kept watch at the door and brought Peter in. The servant girl at the door said to Peter, "You also are not one of his disciples, are you?" He said, "I am not." Now the servants and officers had made a charcoal fire because it was cold, and they were standing and warming themselves. Peter also was with them, standing and warming himself. The high priest then questioned Jesus about his disciples and his teaching. Jesus answered him, "I have spoken openly to the world. I have always taught in synagogues and in the temple, where all Jews come together. I have said nothing in secret. Why do you ask me? Ask those who heard me and heard what I said to them. They know what I said." When he had said these things, one of the officers standing by struck Jesus with his hand, saying, "Is that how you answer the high priest?" Jesus answered him, "If what I said is wrong, bear witness about the wrong. But if what I said is right, why do you strike me?" Annas then sent him to Caiaphas, the high priest. Now Simon Peter was standing and warming himself, so they said to him, "You also are not one of his disciples, are you?" He denied it and said, "I am not." One of the servants of the high priest, a relative of the man whose ear Peter had cut off, asked, "Did I not see you in the garden with him?" Peter again denied it, and at once a rooster crowed. Then they led Jesus from the house of Caiaphas to the governor's headquarters. It was early morning. They themselves did not enter the governor's headquarters so that they would not be defiled, but could eat the Passover. So Pilate went outside and said to them, "What accusation do you bring against this man?" They answered him, "If this man were not doing evil, we would not have delivered him over to you." Pilate said to them, "Take him yourselves and judge him by your own law." The Jews said to him, "It is not lawful for us to put anyone to death." This was to fulfill the word that Jesus had spoken, to show by what kind of death he was going to die. So Pilate entered his headquarters again and called Jesus and said to him, "Are you the king of the Jews?" Jesus answered, "Do you say this of your own accord, or did others say it to you about me?" Pilate answered, "Am I a Jew? Your own nation and the chief priests have delivered you over to me. What have you done?" Jesus answered, "My kingdom is not of this world. If my kingdom were of this world, my servants would have been fighting that I might not be delivered over to the Jews. But my kingdom is not from the world." Then Pilate said to him, "So you are a king?" Jesus answered, "You say that I am a king. For this purpose I was born, and for this purpose I have come into the world, to bear witness to the truth. Everyone who is of the truth listens to my voice." Pilate said to him, "What is truth?" After he said this, he went back outside to the Jews and told them, "I find no guilt in him, but you have a custom that I should release one man for you at the Passover. So do you want me to release to you the king of the Jews?" They cried out again, "Not this man, but Barabbas." Now Barabbas was a robber. These are spiritually blind people. Their king, their Messiah, the one they've waited for millennia for, is standing in front of him. And they hand him over to be crucified. They had to know his power. It said they even fell over backwards when he spoke. And an interesting little thing, they mentioned at the beginning of the chapter, the brook of Kidron. Jesus passed that. There were probably 2.5 million people in Jerusalem for the Passover right then. And the number of lambs that were being slain, it said to turn that creek blood red. Think about Jesus walking over that creek, knowing that he would soon be the sacrificial lamb. There's nothing in the Bible that doesn't mean something. Every little piece of it, the more you learn, the deeper it is. It's richer and richer and richer the deeper we go. I'm going to reread that verse 37. Therefore Pilate said to him, "So you are a king?" Jesus answered, "You say correctly that I am a king. For this purpose I have been born, and for this I have come into the world, to testify to the truth." To testify to the truth. Everyone who is of the truth listens to my voice. That's an important verse. Everyone who is of the truth listens to my voice. Pilate said to him, "What is truth?" What is truth? Words and truth. They both used to mean something. For example, what is theft? What is religion? What is science? These are all words. The meanings are changing, if you haven't noticed. What is democracy? What is free speech? What is a woman? What is marriage? What is education? Or how about this? What is a riot? What is an insurrection? What is immigration? What is a baby? A man? A child? What is freedom? What is a bully? What is equality? What is truth? Pilate asked, what is truth? Do we know truth? Knowledge is built with a solid foundation of basic words and concepts. These need to be fixed. They need to be reliable and easily communicated. Our words must be solid. If foundational words are undermined, all subsequent communication and progress is unreliable, unclear, and useless. And I might add, often dangerous. Unclear language is deceptive. And it's one of the primary tools used to enslave, undermine, and control civilizations. It was going on back then. Hasn't changed, has it? Deceptive marketers, unethical scientists, ruthless politicians deceive their underinformed prey with distorted language. So what's often lost in the process is freedom, finances, safety, and security of their victims. These people who steal and pollute words. I'd call them word crimes. We are living in the age of word crime. Word crime, yeah. I think we need a new 3-letter agency, a big new agency. I'd call it the WCA, the Word Crimes Agency. Oh wait, we probably already have something like that. All around the Western world, free speech has already become a criminal offense. Seriously. If you live in the UK, the US, Australia, Ireland, Canada, New Zealand, all around the world, be careful what you say. Just ask the local baker or t-shirt designer if it's okay to say what you think. Ask the gym owner who dared to ask what an essential business is. Maybe you could check in with the aborted baby and ask them about the definition of the words choice or life. The problem is that the appointed agency chief is also the word thief in chief in most of these places. Orwell coined the term doublespeak to warn us. Doublespeak is destruction straight from the pits of hell. It's time to stand tall. Speak clearly and identify the word thieves. The arsonists of the dictionary. That is the high crime of this generation. Word theft is the express way to the destruction of thousands of years of human progress. It seems like their motto is equal misery for all. The spiritually blind. The spiritually blind who would kill the one perfect man and think they're doing it to glorify God. I hope we find a way to corral this word rodeo before they start feeding Christians to the lions again. It could probably happen. I mean, there's lions and there's Christians and people like entertainment. So if I was making my revised and abridged doublespeak dictionary in 2024, here's some of the things I might ponder. What is theft? Well, it's definitely not high taxes, because that's an investment. What is religion? Well, that's evil. What is science? Well, that's a new religion. What is mob rule? We call that democracy. What is free speech? That depends on who you are. What is a woman? Well, we aren't qualified to answer that. What is marriage? I'm not even going to try to answer that. What is education? It's indoctrination. What is a riot? Well, that's a peaceful gathering. What's an insurrection? That's a way to lock up dissenters. What is immigration? Well, open borders. What is a baby? Really, what's a baby? It's a product of conception used by the medical industry as raw material in their products. This is the age we live in. What is a man? Well, obviously an oppressor. What is a child? A 26-year-old. What is freedom? That's a process to take what we want from people we don't like. What is a school board meeting? Well, that's a place to identify bullies. Well, what's a bully? A parent. What is inflation? A way for government to pass the consequences of its bad ideas onto the taxpayers. What's a student loan? A slavery agreement. What is global warming? That's the best excuse for invoking euthanasia and communism. What is communism? I'd call that economics for kindergartners. What is equality? Answer that and you're a racist. What is truth? Ask King Herod. He asked Jesus the same question right before crucifying him. It might not be safe to ask this question. Guys, if that offended you, I'm sorry. That's what was on my heart today. I tried to get out of this, and I feel like that's what I had to say today. It might offend some people. I'm sorry. But words mean things. We must live for things that are true. We must be anchored in the truth. The source of all truth is in something we call the Bible. God has a monopoly on truth. You can't hide from truth. It will get you in the end. We will all face truth one way or another. A lot of people have to come to the end of themselves, hit the brick wall of truth, and start over. And it's painful and ugly. Truth hurts. Truth hurts. But Christians, we believe in love. There is a loving way to share the truth. We have to find it. We have to find it. That's our job. We are the light of the world. Our God has a monopoly on truth. He created everything that is true and good and right. Christians have brought truth into the world for generations. The world has become peaceful based on this quest for truth. But we need good words, accurate, meaningful words anchored in the truth to continue. So I guess that's probably as close as I can get to Paul Harvey in this day in 2024. Thanks for joining me. I hope you'll like, share, subscribe. Please share this with a friend. Please. That would help a lot. Thank you. Bye.